So this evening, I am going to be joined by Mr. Timmy Gatling, who was the founding member of the R&B group Guy. Got a copy of their CD here. They came out with the Smash It Groove Me, which changed the music game. And but just before the record really came out and blew up, he departed the group, and most of us didn't understand why. And he has gone on to be a successful recording artist and a producer. So we're going to hear his story, and bring him in right now. I can see now. Okay. Well, good evening. It's really great. It's a privilege and an honor to finally get to speak to you and have you on our show.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very good, thank you. I'm doing very good. It's one of those mysteries, like, the Bermuda Triangle, Area 51, for the New Jack Swing fans, and it's one of the things that your album did was create a genre of fans. So you've got Elvis fans, you've got Michael fans, you've got New Jack Swing fans, and very loyal fans. They just stick to the genre of the music. We know all the writers and producers and everything. But it was, I can remember getting my album and seeing the three of you here. But when the video came out, I was like, okay. And I was living in the UK at the time. We had Black Beat to write on, but we didn't get all the gist. So, and you've been quiet for a long time, so most of us didn't get to hear your story. So it's almost a privilege for us to be able to.
Now, where are you calling from? Overseas,
I'm in England.
Oh, you in England?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm in England.
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm in England. So, but even across from England, I went to college in the US. Even across the UK, loads of people have been really curious about the group and stuff. But we'll get to there, and we've got loads of questions from people from Japan, South Korea, from Nigerian stuff who asked questions about they wanted to fight.
Wow.
Yeah, but I wanted to really go to the very beginning, because Must Be the Music is like, how did you get into the music? I mean, how did you? Where did you learn how to write, produce? I mean, even love the music.
Well, it was basically a gift from God. We started out very young. Teddy and I lived 5 blocks from each other, and 3 avenues over. So
in New York, I would assume
it was just a passion. It was just a passion. It was something that we were self-taught. So observing other musicians and just being excited about, different bands that was coming out at the time. We were so young and so little. People really didn't take us serious at first because we were so young.
Yeah.
But and then we just taught ourselves how to read music. It was amazing. We knew that there was a vast and broad education as far as learning music and learning, the notes and learning different chord structures.
Wow.
And so we took it very, very serious, but it was self-taught.
So why music? I mean, because a lot of us who don't live in the US would think, wow, you guys have basketball, baseball, hockey, you've got all this stuff. Why particularly music? I mean, it's,
Well, we did play all that stuff, but we played in, Little League, baseball, Little League basketball. It's just that when we were coming up, growing up in the late 70s, and it was there. Our parents played music in the house.
Okay.
You go outside, you listen to music. You had DJs playing in the park, so music was always a constant.
Yeah.
In our lives, in our neighborhoods.
And did you ever think, well, we could make this happen, or was it just for fun at the time when you were playing?
We were always serious.
Okay.
We were serious about everything we did. It's funny because there are so many other members that came. It wasn't just us. There's so many other members that came along with us that were older,
okay,
and some were younger. But I think the nucleus of the group, the nucleus of the band, myself, Teddy, and Clarell, we took it, and a friend of ours named George Cedric, we call him Swire, but he died of leukemia.
Oh, God.
And then we had a drummer, Pee Wee, a very good looking guy. He got killed.
Wow.
So even though we grew up in that nucleus, it was in the hood, so it was dangerous. You stepped outside of the structure, or you was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Wow.
With no protection, you still could get it. You still could get into deep trouble.
So, and when you guys were coming up, what was, because we all hear about New York, about hip hop really being really big there, but for you guys as a young group, who were you looking to and thinking we could be like them if we worked harder?
Well, the Gap Band,
Wow.
Temptation,
Wow.
Earth, Wind and Fire, the Jacksons, of course, watching Soul Train and American Bandstand and the Midnight Special, which came on in the U.S. at 12 o'clock midnight. We got to see bands because we couldn't even afford concerts and stuff. We were too young to even think about going to concerts.
Yeah.
But watching all that, things that we had access to, we always watched and studied. Wow.
And so we know, I mean, as I said, New Jack fans will know about Kids at Work. Now, how did that come about? And that's one of the questions that people ask about. How did that Kids at Work, the name, and let's just put stuff together?
Well, we didn't come up with the name. We didn't come up with the name, the concept, or anything. Teddy and I were kids together, so we always was in bands together, coming up. So Teddy also used to play with this older band in basically, young, older clubs, speakeasies. And so in those clubs, you had basically administrators, you had A&R people, you had drug sellers, everybody was mingling together. Well, he met Gene Griffin first, and Gene Griffin at the time had Sounds of New York Records, which the group In Deep was on. Last Night a DJ Saved My Life.
Okay, yeah, I know.
And so he was looking, right. He was looking for a young kiddie group, even though we wasn't kids at the time. I think we were like, by that time we was like 15, 16. I was 16 turning 17, and Clarell was 18. So he was looking for this group, and Teddy called me and asked me to come down to 59th and Columbus Circle because he think he got a deal for us. Well, when we went down there, we went to 59th Street, and it was Gene Griffin's office. And he immediately saw us, looked at us up and down, asked us to sing a little bit. We did that. And immediately he said, okay, I'm going to sign you guys. But we didn't know anything about publishing or anything. We were just happy to finally get a record deal.
But without your parents, without lawyers, did you get your parents?
No, none of that. Because our parents were different. Our parents was like, at that particular time, Teddy Riley's mother did. Mrs. Riley was very supportive and whatever. My mother was different. It was like, she was a beautiful mom, but she was like, okay, that's a far-fetched dream. Get a job. Get a summer job. And I was like, it wasn't regular job, get a summer job. Okay. So, they didn't believe it until they actually saw it. And there's so many levels to this business. Like, you can still have a record deal and still be on the cover of a record and still don't own or have no money. So it was that situation.
Wow. Now, you jumped a little bit. What the singing parts, how did you, because it's one thing you learned about playing the music, but what about the singing? Did you go for vocal training, or what did you do?
Well, with Gene Griffin we did.
Oh, before
even though we didn't. Yeah, even though we naturally have raw talent, but Gene gave us, sent us the vocal coaches. We have vocal teachers. We didn't need nobody to tell us how to dance and play. Okay. Because immediately Teddy, even at such a young age, it was automatic. Teddy basically played keyboards and constructed. I was made to play bass and sing and dance, and Clarell was the lead singer. So even then, it was already, suggested what each of our positions was. And so I was left to having to write all of the lyrics.
Wow.
Because I just did that anyway. And Teddy was arranger, keyboard player, co-producer, and Clarell was co-producer and singer, lead singer.
Okay, so you've just pretty much said you were writing lyrics. Now, how does that come about? Did you go to school for that? Because we can't all write songs. How did you learn that?
By just loving, even though I came from the rough area, when I would have alone time, I would read books like Edgar Allan Poe. I would read books like the Lansbury. I would read books like, I love poetry. I love words that can play off each other. I've always done that. So it came real easy to me to write. It's a gift. It just was easy for me to just write real quick and from my heart. I just, connected to, okay, if I feel this way, whatever I'm feeling, I was able to relate it on paper.
So, I guess that complements, because you talk about Teddy being really gifted with the keyboards and arrangements. Did the songs, the lyrics come first, or how did you guys collaborate when you were doing the Kids at Work album?
Well, Kids at Work, lyrics came first.
Okay.
Because I literally had 3 to 4 weeks to write it.
An album.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like young kids, but the pressure was put on us immediately. So because we were trying to get Gene at the time, not we, but Gene at the time was his label, was getting a distribution deal through Sony.
Okay.
And so Sony, they wanted to be ready Gene wanted us to be ready when whatever major label came, he wanted us to be ready and already have the songs and stuff in the can. Wow. So we immediately went at it. So we had like 3 to 4 weeks to really write the song. And in Kids at Work case, lyrics came first. Teddy heard it. Teddy put the music to it. I put the bass lines on songs because I wrote a lot of lyrics by playing my bass at the time because I couldn't play keyboards then.
Okay.
So, and then we rehearsed, translated it to Clarell. Clarell picked it up, and the song was made. Wow.
And so you guys, the studio, what about the studio? As young kids, had you been in studios? Did you know how to do the recording, that whole process?
No, well, we didn't executive produce or produce the first Kids at Work record. Orville Gilchrist, from an older group that Gene had, we was pissed. We was, because we thought we was gonna produce ourselves and play, but that wasn't the case.
But did you guys have the ability to do that though? Did you know how to work the studios and do that production side at that stage?
Teddy had a little bit of that because we was going in the new phase then. We was going in a new era then, but we collectively really didn't know. We were young. We really didn't know. We thought we did, but we learned a lot from Orville Gilchrist, even though we were upset that we didn't have a bigger part in the producing.
Yeah.
We learned a lot from how, the 24 track, the 48 track board, how to, the knobs, the EQ, all of that work.
So, and that laid the foundation. That experience, I know that the album didn't do as well as you expected and stuff. What was the...
It didn't do well at all.
Well, New Edition after that time.
Yeah, well, New Edition, matter of fact, locally we were popular. Because we performed in Roxbury, Boston.
Wow.
And Bobby Brown and Mike, they came backstage.
Oh, you were that young. Wow.
Yeah, and we headlined. We sold it out. And
wow.
We had, and that was the experience we had because we had girls, we couldn't even get in, we was in a limousine. We couldn't even get into the place because they was rocking the car. They wouldn't let us out the car. screaming. Because locally, on the East Coast, we were very popular, even though we had a half of a hit, which was singing Hey Yeah. But these kids knew all of the songs. I guess because they were so used to New Edition, they were waiting
for something else,
for someone to have competition.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, Bobby and Mike came backstage and said, wow, because they never seen, they thought they had it locked down, but we played live.
Wow.
So we played instruments and dancing and singing legitimately. Wow. Even though we didn't hit, we had that on lock.
What do you think, looking back, and especially now with your career, what do you think what was wrong with why you didn't emulate the success of New Edition at that stage when you had all the talent?
Well, first of all, Gene Griffin became incarcerated. So he went away. Okay. So right at the third single, because Sony really believed in us.
Wow.
And they wanted to put the record out, but it was almost like a high profile production deal. Everything was through Sounds of New York Records. So once that didn't happen, it was like we was left in limbo. We didn't know what to do. And the record company wasn't talking to little kids or young teenagers. That wasn't happening. So it was a wrap. You know, we still did tried to do a couple of shows on our own and stuff, but we didn't have the experience as a manager and stuff back then at all. We didn't know the business.
I've heard Teddy say that experience, that's it. R&B doesn't work for me. I'm going to hip hop. What was it for you, like when all that ended? How did you take it?
I took it as, I didn't know how to take it at first because we were so young, and you get over the notion of being angry and upset and all these emotions. But then I got serious. I stuck to R&B. It's like that's all I knew as far as lyrics. You know, Teddy still did R&B, but he went over to really doing just the music and the beat. And so we grew in that way, separately and together, because even after Kids at Work, Teddy and I still formed a new group, New Ideas, and after that came God, you know, so. Okay,
so with New Ideas, was it just the two of you? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we just brothers. Yeah.
And so when you guys formed that, were you still performing, or was it just like, let's just get records together, let's just and wait for another deal?
No, both. I mean, we were so used to we came from like a 8, 9, 12 group band.
Okay.
We went from that to not because we wanted to, it's because we had to, because the older guys would start to go off and indulge in other things, in other endeavors. So we were left to say, okay, we're serious about this. What we gonna do? So I met Clarell, so we formed that group, which was given the name Kids at Work.
Yeah.
After that, when Clarell decided, okay, I'm not gonna cut my hair, I'm gonna do this and whatever, and went against what we wanted to do as a group, then Teddy and I just said, okay, listen, no more members, just let's focus on you and me. So we still traveled, we still went to Chicago, we recorded.
Wow.
We still came back and did shows like at the Red Parrot and the Copacabana. So we still was basically trying to do something, even though it didn't grow into anything.
Yeah.
We still tried to do something.
And you were the lead singer at that point then?
And it was a short-lived thing, but yeah, New Idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Teddy wasn't a singer, so it was left up to me to, write and sing.
Yeah, and then we've heard the story about how you were working at a shoe company and you met Aaron. What was it about? Were you just colleagues, or did you? We
were colleagues. We was working side by side in ladies' shoes, and we were both young, so we became fast friends. And just talking, just going to work every day, co-worker, whatever. So, but we was there 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And he always used to bug me because he recognized me as being in Kids at Work.
Oh.
Because locally, we were at some point in time we was real hot because we had a song called Singing in the Air that played on the radio on WBLS and Kiss.
Wow.
And so he used to bug me all the time. I can sing, but you heard that so much that you were just like, whatever. So one day we was in the stock room getting ladies' shoes, laughing and joking. And Aaron used to have this bad impediment, speech impediment, where he stuttered. And he said, I can sing, I'm telling you, I'm a singer. So I said, okay, mother, just sing. Sing now. He said, right? I said, you've been bugging me forever, sing. And as soon as he opened his mouth and sung, it was a rap. It was like, oh, all right, it's a rap. And we quit that next day.
What? Just because you didn't sing?
I went straight on faith. I made sure Aaron had food, clothes. He was coming over to my home every morning. We were writing, we were working, we would go to clubs, we'd go to anywhere whatever we had to do, we did. Because when he sung for me, I knew it was like a revelation. I was like, wow, this is it.
Wow. And then, what was the plan? Because you read different stories on Wikipedia and stuff as to how it worked out. I mean, I think in one story I heard that you went to Teddy to say, can you come and produce? And Aaron says, no, you need to bring him in. But what was the real story?
No, man, hell. First of all, Aaron, at that time, I was the unofficial leader because it was, when Aaron sung for me, Aaron was coming over to my home every morning, eat from breakfast to late night. Sometimes Aaron would sleep. I had a studio, but the way the studio was set up, it was like a giant living room.
Okay.
And Aaron would sleep on the couch, and we would go right back at it the next morning. So it wasn't no, not at all. So what happened was I called Teddy because Teddy and I was still thick as thieves. I could call. Even though he was working at the time on Heavy D and Cool Mo D and Keith Sweat, I still could call Teddy at any given time, and Teddy would pick up because we had that attachment.
Yeah.
So I called Teddy and asked him, I told him I had this new idea because God gave me a revelation. He gave me the name, he gave me the group, he gave me the style, the concept, everything. It was like a vision.
Wow.
And so I called Teddy and said, I didn't want Teddy to be in a group. I didn't ask him to be in a group. I just said, yo, I need you to help me produce.
Okay.
This new group I'm trying to do. And I got this lead singer that, man, I'm telling you, he sounded exactly like Charlie Wilson. Exactly. And he said, word? I said, yeah, man, this dude is crazy. So Teddy said, all right, listen, I'm working on, I believe it was Kumo D. I thought it was Keith, but no, Keith would have came out because all of us was tight knit. If it was Keith's session, Keith would have came out. That's how close we were. Okay. So it had to be Kumo D. So we went down to the studio and Teddy took us into the vocal and the piano room and said, all right, man, let me hear what y'all got. Let me see what you got, Timmy. I know you can write, but let me hear what y'all got. So I got on the piano. By then I learned how to play a few chords. And I played a few chords and played him the song. And Aaron sung. When Aaron sung, you could see Teddy's eyes light up. And then when Aaron got on the piano and played and we sung, then Teddy said, yo, I'm down. But I don't only want to help you, I want to be a part of the group. So for me, that was like, okay, no problem. Because Teddy had access to the big recording studios. Okay. So we was like, okay, no problem. And we went from there.
So what was the first things you guys wrote then? What was the first thing that you wrote?
Well, myself and Aaron already had Piece of My Love. When we went to Teddy, we already had Piece of My Love, Don't Clap Your Hands, Just Dance, and Goodbye Love. Oh. So we already had those songs was written. Teddy put his expertise on it and his production and arrangement on it. But the song was already written and it was already arranged. After that, though, came I Like, Groove Me.
Okay, so we've got loads of people who've been asking about each of the songs. So, but So if we start, I've got the album.
Teddy wasn't a big club goer, but Aaron and I used to frequent the clubs all the time. Bentley's, Red Parrot, Palladium. We was out. We was going out because not just to have fun and party, but we was going out to research what everybody, because even though we were young and we had certain instincts and picked up on certain things that we was doing at the time, we still wanted to know what made everybody dance, what made everybody go, oh, oh. You know, we wanted that attention. So we went out, did research, party, came back, wrote. So Don't Clap Your Hands, Just Dance came from that. Like I